Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Accidentally Informed,
where we can't guarantee that you'll learn something, but you just might.
Now, I did get on the fiber optic for my Wi-Fi, so hopefully we'll get through a show where I don't freeze up or you don't freeze up on my end, because I'm so sorry. I've been told when I moved to this house that this area is a problematic area, and I have no choices in my internet and all that. Like, I had to have someone come in and drill holes in the wall and put a fiber optic cable, and I still have issues. I'm wired in. I should have no problems. I don't know what it is.
Well, first of all, you look amazing. For us, the informers. Hi, informers. Hey, Anthony. Reminding everybody, as always, to like, subscribe, follow. Carmilla, Los Lounge Podcast. Aziza, hey to all of y'all. Thank you for always being here on time, even if we're not, because I had a George Jefferson going on.
So explain what that means, a George Jefferson.
So my lighting blows me out. So I had put softened, I was trying to do my baby hairs, but it blew it out. So it looked like I had a like a crescent moon.
So you had your hairline was pushed back?
Yeah, I think it's better. But yeah, I was like, okay, we got to pause. I cannot go out like that.
You look cute, and you were so cute all weekend. We were all in Vegas, my birthday. We had such a good time. You were such a good birthday friend. You really went above and beyond. I really was like, oh my God, Erica, seriously, when's your birthday? I got to save up for it, because things you were doing.
Well, first of all, thank you for the invite. I was so excited to celebrate you with your besties. I mean, you have some of the most amazing circle of women. They were all, look at them.
So cute. Look how pretty we are. Hey.
Yes. I mean, everyone was so lovely. And this wasn't even everyone who came out. A few women left earlier. This was on Saturday night. Yeah. And so a couple people had to leave early, but everybody was just so lovely. Oh, that's the group. Yeah. And I was just honored to be a part of it. Did you have fun?
I had so much fun. I just got out of bed today. I was in bed the last 2 days. Okay?
I don't blame you.
The time while we were there, I think only had 13 hours of sleep the entire time we were there. 3 hour, 4. It was bad, right? I have a gambling problem. You got to witness it, but you're with the shits too, Erica. You with the shits as well. I gotta say, you was out there on them tables, okay?
Okay, I will say this. You learn a lot about people in Vegas, okay? So Claudia and I were the two degenerates staying up super late to 6 a.m. at the craps table. And we both have very different crap styles in terms of how we stand at the table. Claudia talks mad crap. She is talking the entire time. Now I don't have enough money to feed my cats. I don't have cat food money. I don't blah, 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 all this stuff. And I get so mute. I'm very serious. Anytime I'm rolling, I'm I hum a song to kind of keep a rhythm. I'm very into that. So I didn't say anything. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you, Anthony.
That's our first time ever I didn't know we can get money over. Oh, we can get money. Hey, y'all, I need some gambling money and some cat food money. We got our first donation, $1.99. Hey, let's run it on up. Run it on up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, I just get very, very quiet. And I'm okay, I'm gonna channel all of the spirits to help me with this role. I had a couple of really solid roles. We didn't get on a role together, but every time I walked away, you won. And then when I was by myself, I won. So I was like, wait a minute. We need to get this together.
So maybe we can't gamble together at the same table, but in the same area, but different tables. Because I went to Planet Hollywood and I ran that up to, I hit the bonus first time I got in the dice. I rolled, made all the numbers. I made a quick $2,800 over there. Dang. And then I kept losing at Bellagio, but then I kept winning on the slot machines.
Yeah. Now that slot machine game, I love Wheel of Fortune. I'll just sit there like an old lady and play Wheel of Fortune. But Claudia came in with $127.
Oh, on one
And
machine, yeah.
yeah, $127 and got up to $2,100. I have never seen anything like that in my life. Like I was like, she could not lose on that slot machine. But then when you started losing money, I was like, hey, let's go now.
No, I won't leave. No, I am like Jack and Rose on the Titanic holding on to that piece of wood. Like I'm gonna
Yes.
go down, I'm gonna die for mine. So listen, we didn't just gamble. We also had Friday night. We had music, video vixen night where people dressed a little extra sexy. It was so cute.
Yeah.
And then we went to Dre's nightclub and we had a table. Thank you, Rada, for hooking that up. It was comped for us and a bottle. Bottle Girls came out,
Yeah.
and then 2 Chainz performed, which was awesome. And we came on like late. Like old people were like, "Hey, it's 2:30. You're still not on." But
Yeah.
the music was so good, wasn't it?
It was. We had so much fun at Dre's.
I got robbed of $500. Someone took $500 on my
That is crazy because a couple people were like, I'm missing money out of my purse. So I'm like, well, what went down?
Right. But then
Yeah.
Then Saturday we had dinner at Catch.
Mhm.
Friday we had dinner at STK. Amazing. Thank you to the casino host Duval that hooked that up.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
We had the private dining room. It was awesome. And then Saturday, Catch, which we had a rude host, but then we worked it out.
We did. Well,
Yeah.
we also were coming in on a high because we got photos taken in your super posh suite. So shout out to Ksenia Delgado. She is, that's one of the photos.
Ooh, that's a cute picture. Look at you all professional holding that bottle.
I was bringing back my best cocktail waitress. But she's the Las Vegas photographer, Ksenia Delgado. She did these photos. We were just all over the place having the best time. I'm so excited that all worked out. We had such a good time.
And to me, the highlight of the trip, besides me winning my money back, was we're leaving Catch, and there's this singer, this white guy, right? And he's singing like with so much soul. And half the group stayed to like hang out and like, let's just hang out.
Yeah.
I wanted him to sing "Sailing, it gives me away." I can't sing. And he sang that for us. And the other group went home. They were tired. And we hung out with him till well after 3:00 in the morning. We started a Soul Train line dancing. Black people came out of nowhere, I don't know where they were. They all came, they just appeared like Avengers, and we had the Soul Train line going. It was so fun. We were,
you would have thought that one of us threw up a baseball cap because the way that I was standing next to Roberta, and all of a sudden we just looked at each other and both just kicked our right leg out and started the electric slide.
It was awesome.
And then all of a sudden, all these black people just converged, and we were
out of nowhere. And it was all white people until the Soul Train line happened. The not Soul Train line, but line dancing.
Yeah.
And line dancing is universal. Like people came out of nowhere and we all joined. We had fun with strangers. And this guy was so soulful. I'm like, you must have a black woman in your life. He goes, I'm married to a black woman. Yeah. I'm like, how does this white guy know all the B-sides of all these R&B like, soulful Keith Sweat, like first album.
Yeah, he was doing deep cuts.
And then we had girl talk. We like shared some traumatic experiences and we were there for each other. There was some tears. There was some support. It was a really good girls trip. It really was amazing. It really was. Thank you so much. It was awesome.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. This was amazing. We can't forget that we went to see Lunell.
And Lunell on Sunday night. Lunell, if you haven't had a chance to see her, she has a residency at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club in Vegas. Sunday night, we went at 10:00 at night. We went. So fun. Erica was cracking up at one part. I'm not going to say what part, but shout out to her husband. Okay. I remember, girlfriend. And that was a fun night. Portia drove us. That's Chancey. That's Annie on the left. She's on SWAT. Tracy Edmonds is with us. My friend D, Lisa, Cecily, Tina. Who else am I missing?
Like Portia. And Rada. And Roberta.
It was so many, but we had a great time now. So you are invited. They all want you to come back and hang with us. They loved you. They were like, you're so funny. And you did try to do a Beyonce dance routine in a parking garage. We got that on camera as well. But we will be going to Aruba in September. So you are invited to. We insist you come.
Well, thank you. I would be honored and I would love to reconnect with all the ladies. Cecily, we didn't mention her. So awesome. So awesome.
Great group. All right. we have a lot of show, and I've been chomping at the bit for this show because I have some things to say to Mr. Shay Shay.
Well, before we get into that, I do have a little thing to promote.
Oh, that's right.
It was on thank you to Access Hollywood today, who ran a clip of it. But I have a series on my other podcast, Come Back with Erica Cobb. It's called Fertility Unfiltered. And this week we dropped an episode with Colton Underwood, who was a former bachelor, as well as his husband, Jordan, about their surrogacy journey. Do we have a clip of that?
Let's play it.
Or we... Oh, just via. Okay. So check that out. I've had Abby Phillip from CNN, as well as I'll have Onika Raymond on next week, who's an amazing travel journalist. There's a story of myself and my husband. So if you are so inclined, go to my personal YouTube channel, Come Back with Erica Cobb, and check out that fertility series.
That's awesome. I love that you're doing that, Erica. It's so amazing. You know, one of our friends on the trip, Rada, she's pregnant. She's due in a couple of months, and she still made the trip. And she had fertility issues, and she's spoken about it. They did in vitro, and then when she got off in vitro, she got pregnant.
Yeah.
And you know, I love when I can just share, like, there's a happily ever after for a lot of folks. You know what I mean? So I'm loving that you're doing that. So good. Kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you.
We got another super chat. Michelle Ingram sent $2. She said, spend it slowly. Oh, we're going to spend it quickly.
Thank you. We appreciate y'all buying us a coffee. I appreciate that. I love my coffee.
We're going to put all these together, and this way we're going to be able to spend money on other things, like maybe taking the show on the road eventually and have live events for you to see us. So everything goes into the kitty, into the box.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Speaking of boxes, Shannon Sharpe was in some boxes, and we have to talk about this. Okay, Shannon Sharpe has been lighting up the internet, and not in the way he wants to. Listen, there's a woman that's making some allegations, and he's been accused of rape, but he vows to sue the alleged victim. Let's play a little clip we have of Shannon on the phone with the alleged victim.
You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be, don't manipulate me.
Oh, no, have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
So first of all, I'm just going to make this disclaimer. We're monetized now, so we have to say SA.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't understand when these videos come out and clearly, or audio comes out, and there's these long haul pauses. Wouldn't that be strange to you when you're listening? I'm just thinking before we even get to the allegations, isn't that strange to you? Like somebody else might be in the room, or like doesn't that just seem suspect to have those types of pauses?
Absolutely. I mean, and there may be parts of the conversation we're not getting. I can definitely agree with that for sure. Like, and a lot of times, oftentimes in these cases, everything is not the way it seems. Like the first person that gets the story out, you know, sometimes people rush to that. I like to get all the details, but this is not good. It's not good. First of all,
what was your first thought?
It seems like whenever there's some gay allegations against Shannon Sharpe, an overly sexual story comes out about him. Like first there was a live of him having sex, which with Michelle. And then there's been more like conversation around him. And I don't really know what it is. I will say that what we do know, we're going to comment what we do know. The girl was 19 years old, OnlyFans model, very young. What is Shannon, 56, 54, 56? I don't understand why these high value men get with these young girls that have no life experience. And what do you think? Do you think it's going to be a happy ending? Do you think it's going to be a good turnout? It says a lot to me when men deal with women that are decades younger than them. It screams to me someone that's easy to manipulate, or someone that's just like extremely casual. And I don't like that part, but that's not illegal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not illegal. It's in poor taste, but it's not illegal having relations with someone that is, you know, above the age of consent. But she's saying some really some damaging things. And Shannon is now saying he's definitely, throwing the Hail Mary here. And he's claiming that Tony Busby is targeting Black men. Let's take a listen.
Tony Busby targets Black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media.
When I look at Shannon Sharpe, I cannot help but to think of Miss Netta. It's like you never see Miss Netta and Shannon Sharpe in the same room at the same time. And I need someone to look into this because they look so, Erica, it is uncanny, their resemblance, don't you think? And Miss Netta kind of has is country, like how she speaks. So is Shannon Sharpe Miss Netta?
I don't know, Claudia. I don't know. But you know what? I will say this because these are very serious allegations. Yeah. And the way that everyone is handling it is pretty much the same way. I think that anytime in this day and age in April of 2025, we're all looking at Tony Busby and anybody who is affiliated with him with side eye. Yeah. I mean, Shannon was not out of pocket for saying that it does appear that he is targeting powerful Black men. And after all of the, the issues with what came out or what he was trying to imply or indict Jay-Z on, I think that he's missing some credibility himself. And any person who feels or is a victim and is seeking justice, I would strongly suggest that they find other counsel, in my opinion.
It does not help her case that that's the lawyer of all the lawyers, the lawyer that has been publicly exposed as bending the truth, shall we say?
Well, it's very suspect. And once it's like, to me, it comes off as fruit of the poisonous tree. I mean, and the other thing is, I always listen. I believe people when they come forward and say that I am a victim. I do also believe that there is a small, but it doesn't matter how small of a percentage of the population it is that comes out with false accusations. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why I have always been a proponent of there being actual legal action taken against someone who is proven to bring false allegations against someone. I think that's an injustice to everyone. Yeah. But looking at this situation, and someone just put in the chat, I was going to bring her up. Oh, because this is what a lot of people are kind of throwing out there. It sounds like their kinky behavior from their text messages. I think it was foreplay for them both. One, it does kind of beg the question. First of all, Shannon Sharpe is saying that this is a 30-second video and that it should be, and he could have said 35 minutes. The man said it's 10 minutes. And he wants the entire 10 minutes to be shown so that the full context of what the exchange would be shown. I think this is a messy situation, but I think that anyone could have seen this becoming a messy situation. And I'm confused. I'm confused about all of this. Like, common sense is not that common for some people. I don't understand.
Two things can be true at the same time. And I do believe that this is a case of this. Of course, I like to believe women when they say that they were assaulted. I feel like you go down a slippery slope when you start questioning that. But there are people that do have motives. I will say the victim claims that he penetrated her anally. Can I say that? Backdoor. Okay. She was essayed in the back. And she asked him to put a condom on, and he did not. That's some of the allegations that she's making. So that's her claim of essay, right? Mm-hmm. He's saying this is just foreplay of how we talk. I don't think when he said, I'm gonna come over there and choke you, that didn't sound like foreplay to me. I do think there's part of the conversation that we're not hearing. I do agree with that. Which begs the question, Shannon Sharpe, we discussed you a couple weeks ago, or was it on the other show? we've
No,
been
we discussed it. Yeah.
how he refuses to get in an elevator with a single woman by himself because of an overabundance of caution, only to hear this story now that you're dealing with a 19-year-old OnlyFans girl that you don't really know that is now blasting you, that's recording you. So all that avoiding single women like us, well, me, not you, me, in an elevator, but then you do this. So it's just not making sense. So you say you do this because you're just overly cautious and you're a target now, but then you're this naive to think there could be a happy ending or a positive encounter with you hooking up with the OnlyFans model that you have relations with, allegedly with no protection, which is mistake number one, dummy. Why would you do that if it's true? Number two, she's recording you. Okay. And you let that go down. But it's the elevator being the elevator. And a single woman that might get you caught out there. You are a 55, 56-year-old man that is a veteran in this business. And we can say she set you up, but the main person that set themselves up is you, Shannon Sharpe. You should know better by now. I don't understand high value men that continue to get caught up in situations like this. Now, at the end of the day, this very well may be a case of there was no SA. But it's just like, we don't professionally, ESPN is not going to be happy about these personal details being out in the streets because it's disgusting, right? It's not a good look for these corporations, Disney Corporation, the parent company. It's not good. So you very well may be innocent of a crime, but guilty of being stupid, guilty of being ignorant, guilty of being lazy, guilty of not doing your due diligence. You need to protect yourself at all times. And look at how many incidents you've had in this year. You got your stylist Hollywood out there dropping subliminals all the time about you. I don't even know why you let him get close to you. He already outed Kerry Rhodes and ruin his career. Okay, why would you pick him as, oh, that's the guy I want to style me and sit courtside next to me. He already is saying stuff online about you. Another audio came out about with you moaning Hollywood's name. That's on Tasha K's page. Hate to shout her out, but I have to. Like, that's out there. Then you go live accidentally having SAX with Michelle, and you accidentally went live when I already showed you it's 5 steps to go live. Then this comes out. This is all in the span of 1 year. What are you doing, Shannon? Who are your people? And then your disclaimer when you went to your message to the media is terrible. You are too successful. And I loved how you changed lanes and went from sports reporting to pop culture. And you had these amazing interviews. You made tons of money. You were killing the game. And how you could be so sloppy, because I hate to see a Black man that has come from, so much struggle to reach these heights, to trick it off because you're thinking what you did. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. I don't understand how you let this happen.
Well, here's the thing, Claudia, though. Here's T. What's left at that point? That's the reason why when we're like, how does someone who has everything and every opportunity and so much money, because there's nothing for them to get, like their dopamine levels are not satisfied with what the average person's dopamine levels are satisfied with. It's got to be, now we're talking younger. I mean, she is of age. Let's be very clear about that. But you're talking younger, you're talking more high risk. You're talking about someone who, is for the masses, but you get her privately. You're talking about all of these things that you can't get if you're the average Joe. And that creates more high risk. And in a lot of these, particularly men's minds, that becomes more reward. That's the reason why it doesn't make any sense, because it's not supposed to make any sense. I mean, like my father will say, stop trying to make sense out of nonsense. This is nonsense.
And for someone that is so judgmental of other people, it's difficult to have empathy, honestly. I mean, he kind of gave black women's ass, gave black women his ass to kiss. Like, as Dr. Umar says, he's a habitual snow bunny jumper, right? Like, he does not deal with black women, they say, right? I see people in the comments. Classy Quick Killer says, not our fight. He told us to go buy our own horse here. Why are you not with some 30, 40, 50-year-old woman of means that is on your level? I don't understand these men that date down like this. And I'm sorry, this is not a classy woman that the way Shannon speaks is like he would speak with the best of the best. the standard is so high. Oh, I don't do that. I don't do this. I don't know. You do. You do. And you got caught with your pants down.
But here's the thing, though. Just because somebody has money and success doesn't make them classy. I mean, we're giving him a lot of like. There's a lot
how
of
he represents
leeway.
himself on the podcast. He always represents himself like things are so beneath him. He would never. Well, I would never. You are doing it, and you're getting caught by a 19-year-old. You're getting outsmarted by a 19-year-old, and it just irritates me. Now I have to bring something else up. I sent a video to you before this, and I know we didn't have time to put this on the show, but their video has, listen, now that he put himself out there, all this stuff is going to come out. It's going to get ugly for him, okay? And again, things that may not be illegal. I'm not saying that he's committed any kind of crime, but things that are of poor taste and that are going to be bad for him professionally. So the comedian that played Ashley Larry, I forgot his name, Ashley Larry, right, on the Dave Chappelle show. He's a comedian. Let me see. I sent this to you earlier. So there was a video that resurfaced where Shannon Sharpe is interviewing him, the comedian, right? Who is it? I'm sorry. Oh, Darnell Rawlings. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Darnell. You are a great comedian. There was an interview that Shannon Sharpe did with him where Shannon made a huge deal about, oh, you like him young and she's 23 years younger than you. And why don't you date her mother? Go look it up. It's on the Neighborhood Talk. And the baby mama her name is Stephanie. She was on Bad Girls Club. Now, Shannon was sitting there being very shady and kind of being very judgmental about this woman because she's the mother of Darnell Rawlings' child, and she's 23 years younger. And Darnell said, I don't like him younger. I just love who I love. He fell in love with her, which I thought was a very amazing answer. And Shannon, again, it's the audacity for me. Like, I cuss a lot, right? And I gamble a lot. So I would look ridiculous and open myself up to criticism if I dared to criticize someone who gambled a lot and cussed a lot. Like, look at me. And that's my thing. If something is something, if there is a vice that you're doing yourself, maybe when the topic comes up, you don't lean so much into it. You just shut the fuck up. Oh, let me make it better so we can monetize. Shut the hell up.
But that's the thing, though. If people look at R. Kelly. He was singing his crimes for decades. People are constantly telling on themselves. And also, especially when it comes to men, sexuality, like, whether in testosterone, all of that, like these are all, it feels like it's a quantifiable reach in terms of like, well, I'm here and this person's there. How long ago was that interview with Donnell?
I don't think it was that long ago because Shannon Sharpe show's only been on for the past, year and a half?
Oh,
Remember?
okay. So it was on Club Shay Shay.
Yeah, it was on Club Shay Shay. So that's within the last year and a half. So you probably were messing with your little 19-year-old OnlyFans during this time.
For sure. That's a part of it, Claudia. That's a part of what gets the engine moving. You say some things that that you're sneaking around, you haven't gotten caught, and you think like that's a part of the adrenaline rush. Being able to call somebody else out on the crap that you're doing on the other side. It's all like, pay attention. Pay attention.
Shannon, you have me blocked on Twitter and on Instagram. There was a time when people told me that I should date you. And I was like, no, but I do respect what he does. And I did one story on your casket ready makeup that you had, which wasn't even you. You didn't do your makeup, but someone did your makeup. Horrible. And you was giving Netta back then before we knew who Miss Netta was. And I made fun of it. Well, me and my co-host, we talked about it. You did not block my two co-hosts who are a member of the LGBTQ community, but you blocked me. And I wondered about that. It never sat right with me. Like, why did you block me and not them? Because they went harder on you, than I did. Like, I just was like, oh, the makeup, whatever. And you've had me blocked. And I want to know why you have me blocked, Shannon Sharpe. I don't want you. But is it because I have a third eye? Is it because I know how
I don't know. This seems like a long road to hoe just to try to dodge some allegations. So, I mean, clearly I don't know if the allegations are true about what this woman is claiming. I do not know if the allegations are true about Shannon and his sexuality. I don't know. But what I do know is that there are very easy ways to circumvent these situations happening. To say, and here's the thing, it's very much do as I say, not as I do. I hope that there were other young men, particularly men, who can become targets of a money grab or extortion and are just very easily out there. I hope that they're listening to what Shannon Sharpe says and not watching what Shannon Sharpe does.
And honestly, Shannon, we don't really care about your sexuality. It is 2025, right? And you actually shouldn't be shamed for living your truth, whatever your truth is. And I'm not saying you're gay or not. It's really none of my business. I don't care. We're never going to date. But like, I feel like his motivation for some of the drama that he's gotten into is like trying to like mishandling an allegation about an opinion. People are kind of talking about him and they're having these debates on what he is sexually. I don't care. I liked at the time that you are a black man that was very strong in your stances on your show, and you were letting folks have it. You were doing a good job. And I like that about you. And I think you got distracted with worrying about what people thought about you personally, when really at the end of the day, it really is none of our business. And I think some of these missteps are you trying to do an overcorrection of what you think people think about you. And in that mission that you have, like, no, I'm not that, I'm not this, you're making things worse for you. Honestly. I really don't. And I just think that there's a lot of, yes, Michelle, Claudia doesn't care about anyone's sexuality. This is about Shannon and his hypocrisy. Yes. Thank you so much. It is about the hypocrisy of everything. I'm not even talking about like his sexual. I don't really care. I don't care. I care about you sit on your show and you are kind of judgmental about other things that other people are doing. And here you are. And like you said, Erica, that's probably part of the kink and what excites him, doing the taboo thing, just like these Republicans out here that are so anti-gay and anti-trans. And then lo and behold, we always find them in the scandal. And it always turns out that they're messing with kids or they're down low. Not that the two are related. I want to make that very clear. They are not. I'm just saying they be so against certain things, against abortion. And then you find out their mistress has had 2 abortions. Mm-hmm. It's that for me that frustrates me with Shannon Sharpe.
Self-loathing, at least in the last example, is it's a very real thing. It's an epidemic. So
yeah, and I definitely want to be clear. Like I don't like when people put in the same basket sex offenders and
no, we're not even.
But I just have to be, with shows, you have to be clear because people will flip it because it's 2 different things. But I'm just saying how these politicians will come for these groups, right? They're not related and try to lump them all together. And then lo and behold, they're doing the most wicked things out there. So yeah. All right. Well, we have a couple comments. Kinky said, Shannon has frustrated me so bad this week. He knows better than this. And Miss Ladia says his sexuality, we don't care. It's you acting if you're above it, then being exposed as a hypocrite. That's the issue. And the Haitian Empress says, if these Black women are checking for these men with the intent to date, they should care. Their health is on the line. Well, our health is on the line with straight, gay, bi, non-binary. It doesn't matter. Like everyone's out here screwing with no condom. I am happy to hear that he didn't. She claimed he did not use it.
This is, it's a mess. It's a mess. And it's honestly, it's disappointing. Like it's disappointing. That's all I'll say about it. I'm not even going to give, I won't even give pointers. I haven't been outside on the streets in so long. I can't give pointers to anybody. I'm like, it just, again, I'm not trying to make sense out of nonsense. Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to move on because we have a lot more stuff to talk about. All right. Kenya Moore, Real Housewives of Atlanta. She breaks her silence and spills the tea. There's been a lot of talk about whether Kenya Moore will be at the reunion, which I think she needs to be to complete this storyline. I think it's a huge mistake. If she's not, let's hear what she had to say about it.
Will I attend the reunion? I haven't been invited to the reunion. In fact, I was invited and then disinvited a few months ago. The disrespect is insane.
What do you think, Erica?
So I'm very curious what the timeline was in terms of what was happening to extend the invitation and then rescind it.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, this could have been a situation, and I think we've all made it very clear that 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 2 rights made the airplane, right? So we understand that Kenya had a misstep. that wasn't something that, people had very mixed responses and a lot of them were negative. However, in terms of a redemption arc, which I do think that she should have been afforded, she could have easily have been integrated back into the show at the same time that they chose to bring in Phaedra. In my opinion, having never seen it, it's going to feel disjointed. From there, if we would have had Kenya reintroduced towards the end, then it would have been a natural fit to have her at the reunion, probably more natural than for Phaedra to pop up at the end of it and for her to be in the reunion. There's so much context that we're missing from the point of where the incident occurred to the middle of the road. And then when we see Phaedra. So it's weird to me, like, did something happen? Like, what was the matchup? Because we know that Kenya went to Tamron Hall. Was it around that time? Was she told or asked not to speak out and she did, and then her invitation was rescinded? What is the context behind having an invitation given and then taken away?
I think that you make a great point to have Phaedra there, who's I hear is only going to be on for like 2 or 3 episodes in the reunion, and be able to speak her piece after, she had big allegations against her as well that were really, damaging to other people. And they were able to, bring her back. Not saying that Kenya was right. We've already said this a million times. People love to ignore the times that I did hold her accountable and then say, oh, she's your friend. Listen, what she did was not right. But the way they handled this Britney thing was not right either.
Right.
When you're in a red state, in a right to carry state, and someone is popping off that they have a gun or they always have a gun with you, have to take them seriously. And to just say, oh, we did an investigation and we found her to not have had one that night. It feels like they wanted a way to get rid of Kenya. Because I think a lot of people, fans have said, they feel like she's been kind of being mistreated by the network for a long time. Like, she's not one of Andy's favorites, right? Although she brings so much to the show, and that, she doesn't get the same grace on certain things. Now, are there times when Kenya has displayed some yucky behavior? Yes. I'll say pulling the chair out from Kim Fields was terrible. I was never cool with that. I'm like, why would you do that? I think that was wrong. And I think it's things like that that gives people license to say, well, she's mean, or she's this, or she's that. You have a point with that scene. She was 1000% wrong. But that was many years ago. And once they decided to leave her on the show, not that we're starting over from scratch, but in this situation with Britt, I just don't understand why they kept this girl around. Where it even got to she shouldn't even been on the show for Kenya to embarrass this girl at her hair care event. She should have been suspended right away for that.
Yeah.
Or like keep them apart. Or she should, I don't know. It's almost like a setup. Like, it's not going to go well after that.
I agree with that. And for anyone who hasn't had an opportunity to see you on Monday nights with Carlos King and Dustin Ross, you guys go so in depth on specifically Real Housewives of Atlanta right now. Y'all talk about other shows and stuff, but I think you did such a great job of really deciphering this entire thing, because there's 3 different points, very almost strategic points of view of where you guys are coming from. So it paints a full picture. So y'all check that out. It's on YouTube, Reality with the King.
Thank you.
But I do think a big part of, as someone who's been in the entertainment industry for a very long time, if you aren't one to kiss the ring, it doesn't really matter how great you are, how much of an asset you are. You kind of have to, you have a bigger cross to bear. And I think that Kenya isn't one to kiss a ring. I think that she's very much who she is, and she makes her decisions and she stands in them, whether it's good, bad, right, wrong, or indifferent. I think that she's someone who is able to have, sit and wait for her arc to continue. And that makes her a really great reality TV, whatever you want to call her, hero, villain. It makes her a reality TV queen.
Star.
But if you don't play ball with the powers that be, then you are going to get the short end of the stick. And I don't know if that's the situation or not. But I agree. The idea that Britt was on that show to even be able to go to Kenya Moore Hair Care was super problematic.
I agree.
Either we have an issue with gun violence in this country or we don't. Either we are super staunch on see something, say something, or we don't. And the idea that this happened on a Bravo Housewives show is like super jarring to me as someone who, really loves Housewives shows.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we can go back and play Monday morning quarterback all we want. At the end of the day, I don't think that the reunion has filmed. There's still a tremendous opportunity for them to bring Kenya on.
They need to.
I think that that's exactly what needs to be done. There needs to be an arc, not only for her, but for the fans as well.
And it's going to make the network look whack. It's going to make the network look very biased. Once again, need I remind people, and this is something that Kemi Apple just brought up, Kenya was literally dragged by the hair at a reunion before, okay? And they did not fire Porsche after that. They did not fire her. She was able to come back the next season, okay? So, not saying that's wrong, bad. I mean, they let her still have to film around this woman that literally dragged her by her hair. Now, you can make an argument and say, Kenya provoked her. She had the bullhorn in her face and the scepter and all that kind of stuff. You can say that as well. There's a lot of provoking on these reality shows. That's what they do. They almost are, why are you bullshitting? They're encouraged to provoke each other. Okay, clock that T. They are encouraged. So, yes, she was literally dragged. Now, when it comes to guns and yelling fire in a crowded theater or being on an airplane and talking about terroristic stuff and bombs, there's certain things you just can't say or you get in trouble for. And to me, saying you have a gun is right up there with that. Because most people don't talk about a gun unless they have it, or pull out a gun unless they have it. If someone tells me, where is my gun? Because I always keep a pistol, I'm going to have to assume that it's in your car or it's close by. Because why are you bringing up your gun if it's locked at home in a box? So if a bitch would have said something about a gun around me and then showed up at my event and I knew I had a film with this heifer, I got something for her. I do. I understand the mentality of humiliating someone else once they do that to you. And people try to say, oh, well, yeah, that's wrong. It's never right. It's never right to talk about. Why are we forgetting how this started? And you can't tell someone how to react when you talk about a gun is threatening someone's life.
Oh, yeah.
It's threatening someone's life. Now people say, oh, there was a scene where Kenya had a gun in her closet, locked up in a box and said, oh, I got something for Phaedra or something like that. It's one thing being home with a weapon in a locked box and showing your friend, not in the heat of the moment. It's another thing when you're angry. That's a crime of passion where you can just react on the spot and saying, where's my, like talking about your gun. Two different things. Please don't play stupid people out there that are watching. You know that there's a difference. Now, Kenya was wrong to show those pictures, but I understand. The reason why I say she was wrong was because that night should have been about her and her salon. That's it. Don't let no girl ruin. Don't let this girl get you off your square and mess up your night. Now it's your salon opening is forever ruined by that. I don't even know if it's around anymore. But you kind of did that. You messed up on that one. And she's usually very, very smart and calculating with her stuff. Now, as far as revenge porn, this girl's a webcam girl that sold time on the web doing sexual things. And then, people screenshot, they take pictures and all that kind of stuff. So am I judging her? Yeah, I am. I actually am. Like I said, if there's something that I do, I'm guilty of in my life. How do I look coming for someone? Oh, how dare you say that about, but you sold those, like you did that. That's not like beyond the pale. Like, oh my God, I can't believe, this classy person is doing this. Doesn't make it right. No, but I understand why Kanye was like, I don't give a damn. When you go low, I'm going to hell.
Well, I think also just to wrap this up, because I know we have another story to cover, but when things like this happen, I feel like taking it out of the context of reality TV, because most people haven't been on reality TV, but you've certainly been in situations where you have been offended upon in some way and justice was not served. And it does make people want to say, okay, well, clearly there are no boundaries, there are no lines here. And therefore, if I do something out of pocket, then it's completely justified, because when this person did this out of pocket, and I didn't receive justice for it, then now this is just where the line is. Like the line, as Candace would say, the line is constantly moving.
Yeah.
And
so I
that's
blame
what it is.
Bravo.
The
I
line
blame
moves.
production should have, if they handled it correctly, there would have been no story here. They should have suspended Brit right away. You're not filming. You can't be around Kenya for maybe a month. Cool down. And that's that. Not have her show up to the grand opening of Kenya's salon a week later. And the way production works on these shows, right? Do you really think no producers knew what Kenya was about to do? You don't think anyone saw her bring these poster boys?
I don't think Kenya went to Kinko's. I do not. I am not at the Kenya Moore level. And if I was going to pull something like that, I would certainly ask that those things get delivered to me. She did not go to Kinko's.
Don't you think someone from production saw her bring these materials in the salon? Do you think that
she had assistants bringing the materials in the salon? I do not think that she cut and pasted that herself or had it printed out herself. No, I do not. That did not happen.
I have heard no one else say that. Do you think they were shocked? They had a shot of her holding it up. If they really were that offended by it, they could have never showed that scene. And the only person that would have known were the people that were at that event. They could have been like, "Hey, give me your phones. Let me try to." They could have asked people to delete it, right? They did not. They did not. They did not. They were with it until they weren't with it because it looks bad to say they were with it. My opinion. Someone knew something is what I think. I would almost put money on someone knew.
Wait, were you there that night?
So I thought I was there, but come to find out they had 2 openings. I think the first opening wasn't enough drama, so they redid the other opening, the one that you saw, and I think that's the one that it all went down at. So again, y'all said it wasn't enough drama, and she gave you drama, and then you fired her.
Yeah. All right. Well, to be continued, but I actually would not be surprised if she popped up.
If Bravo wants those ratings through the roof, like season 7, they would have her at the reunion and finish this thing out and then invite her back the next season and get rid of Brit. Or even keep Brit on, but like maybe have some resolve where they sit down and work through this thing. Because it seemed to me like Brit was coming for Kenya from the very beginning. She was looking for something to be offended. Even when Kenya hugged her, it's just a pat.
Yeah.
You were looking for a reason to be mad, like from day one. And I liked the new girls at first. I liked them. I still like most of them. But I just felt like that was like kind of whack. Like the thing that people accuse others of doing, like coming for the queen on the show. That's what she was doing. There seeming to be some holes in her stories as well. All right, let's move on. Kanye West, from Kenya to Kanye. Oh, Lord. Did you see this? Now, I know we were in Vegas all weekend.
I did.
Kanye West is alleging sex. Can I say sex? I know we monetize now. Intimate acts with his cousin. Let's take a listen to what he was talking about. Now, I don't know if that's AI or the real song, but we do know that he did post something that said back in the day about on the I can't say anything because we monetize, right? So
that there was copulation.
Kanye said he did that to his cousin.
Yeah. So I have a lot of questions because people are saying that he was a teenager. They were 14 or something like that.
Yes.
Because I was very confused by this. And also, if I'm confused, I know a lot of other people are confused. I just want to be very clear because when people were saying that he was saying he was a child, then the story, and this is just, I'm going to put this out there because I've worked with CASA for a very long time and child welfare. So when you're talking about these things with young children who may be related, one, this is something that can occur, especially because of situations that could be happening in the home. So I want to be very clear that that's one thing. And there's a reason why I'm saying that. And then this could be something else. So I just want it to be very strategic about how I'm saying, just as someone who is a court-appointed special advocate.
Got you. They say that someone said he was 3 years older than his cousin. So either way, if what he's saying is true, this is molestation or incest, right? At the very least. And it's horrible. Allegedly, the cousin that he was speaking of unalived a pregnant woman and went to jail. And he said something about his regrets were like they messed around, him doing this to his cousin, somehow thinking that he's somehow responsible for how his cousin turned out. Allegedly. These are claims on the internet. We're just discussing. This is a hot topic. This is not an indictment. So this is just word on the street until we get more information. So Adrian Turner said, I think he said it ended at 14, but it started years earlier. Okay, so I'm not gonna make fun of this. It's not to be made fun of. But what I will say about Kanye, he's been showing us for years that this man needs help. Y'all are quick to put Wendy Williams and Britney Spears in a conservatorship, but this man, I don't know how many more signs he has to give us to show us that he is needing help. And how long are we gonna wait? Meanwhile, he's fighting online and talking about help him get custody of his kids and all this stuff.
Yeah.
This is the person Kim would have every right to keep this kind of man with this kind of behavior away until we figure out what's going on with him.
Well,
and
yeah, it's very difficult when you don't have control over you don't have control over another adult unless you're going to do, be 52, is it 5250'd? 5150'd, yeah, where it's an actual psych hold, and that's something because you've had an episode or something like that. It's very difficult. But now it does beg the question, and I think you're absolutely right when we're talking about Wendy Williams, when we're talking about Britney Spears, and I think a part of it is like we forget sometimes that like regardless of race, like being a woman is a minority class that is an easier way for people to take control over you. So the idea that Kanye has been around and been enabled by so many people during what's clearly some type of episode or break is just, it's a stain on our society, to be quite honest. It really is. Like, there's a lot of people who really should be ashamed of themselves.
And honestly, I don't even know if I believe the essay claims about him and his cousin. It's the fact that he's posting stuff like this. He makes, he does do stuff for shock value sometimes. So I'm hoping that's the case and it's not really the truth.
Yeah.
That it's just like him having an episode. I think that's a better reality than thinking that quite possibly that he molested a cousin, a younger child. I'm hoping that never happened, that he's just saying random things like he appears to do at times as a cry for help. Like, I know that's not a good reality, but it's better than the reality of thinking that this is possibly true. And I hope it's not true.
Yeah.
I hope
Miss Latia. I was just going to bring her up because she's chiming in, and I just wanted to get this. She was a CASA director for New Jersey, which stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate. She brings up the idea that he has a longer leash because he's a man, but also because this is a situation, because I'm going to say this, and I think it's very important. Kanye also went on to talk about how there were explicit magazines within the reach of one of the Kardashians' homes of his children or of the children. And I just want to make people aware that these are situations that become increasingly more prevalent due to over-sexualized nature in the home or potential. Like, if a child is acting out in that way, then that means that it's been acted upon them. They're just repeating what they've seen or has experienced towards them.
You said in the Kardashian house, you mean in Kanye's family's house? Is that what you meant? Because that's what I think he said something about.
So
the family.
he made another post about there being Playboy magazines within the reach of his children. And then he said the Black children and, all this stuff. So I just want to make people aware, because when situations like this come up and it becomes public fodder, and obviously we know that Kanye has had some issues for a while, I just want to be clear, especially when you're around like younger people, that you do have like do your due diligence, pay attention to how children or kids of a certain age are responding and reacting. If they're overtly sexual,
Yeah.
then there is something to be asked,
Mhm.
questions within the household. So I think that while this is a story that, you know, is obviously taken off because it's Kanye, I do think that it's a good jumping off point to just make people more vigilant and aware of the children around them.
Kanye killed me though with when he picks and chooses when to be concerned. You know, he'll do certain actions that are very highly sexual, walking around with his wife with nude with her vagina out. And then you want to be concerned about a magazine being in the home, allegedly, right? But we know for a fact what you have, how you and Bianca are walking around. Being caught in Venice, getting fellatio from your wife on a boat. Like, your kids are not going to see this. Your kids are on social media. So again, another story of hypocrisy from another man with the very judgmental, you know, it's do as I say, not as I do, once again, you know, and I, yeah, that is what's frustrating about it. Kanye West, whoever's in your circle, please stop just being a do boy and doing what he says and a yes man. If you care about this man, get this man in a doctor's office, please. He needs help. Okay, we'll try to get up. We might go a couple minutes over. We want to get to the story real quick. Carmelo Anthony moves after strangers come to his door. Carmelo, as you might recall, is the young teenager, black boy that was accused of murdering or killing a white high school student at a track meet. The stories are that Carmelo was being attacked, bullied by the two brothers, and he reached in his bag, grabbed the knife, and stabbed Jesse Metcalf in the chest, in his heart, and he died. I got some information today, and I want to be careful and say allegedly, from people that are within the police department in Collin County. And they told me that the police have plenty of video from the incident. Plenty, because, you know, teenagers, they always have their phones out. This is what I heard, allegedly. Plenty of video from the incident that they have not been releasing because they are protecting the white family. They are protecting the white family. I also was told that it was allegedly, and it was not a knife, allegedly, that was used as the weapon. It was a tool used in track meets. So I Googled it, and there are tools that are kind of sharp that you can use that could be sharp. Now, this is all, like I said, alleged. But if you can Google it yourself, tools to remove track spikes. And they said that Carmelo allegedly, when, you know, it all went down, kept asking, is he okay? Is he okay? Seemed very concerned about the other young men. They said it was a fight. It got emotional, that Carmelo was getting beat down and was getting jumped by the two brothers, allegedly. And then he reached in his bag, his phone was smashed, and that he got body slammed. These are all alleged. We will definitely update you when we have more more facts. I do have a call placed to someone that is friends with a police officer that will give me more when I can. I have to protect my sources, so I will not say who the officer is, and I will not say who the friend is. But I'm trying to get more information about this because I do think the way they're handling this begs the question of further investigation. And the black judge that reduced the bond and reduced the charge, lots of death threats she's gotten, and, you know, not only she's in danger, but of course the family of Carmelo Anthony, they have to move. Strangers are showing up at his door. What do you think about this?
You know, I am always of the belief, especially when stories become sensationalized to the degree that this story has become. From the moment that we heard about the story, it was very much, you know, a line straight down the middle, and it was like pro, against, for, against. You know, it takes on a life of its own, and at the end of the day, there is an irrefutable truth. The problem with the irrefutable truth is, if there isn't anything to support what happened in the moment that we can see with our own eyes, and then sometimes even when we can, then it creates the opportunity for people to run with their own narratives for their own purposes. I think you're absolutely right in terms of what you're saying allegedly took place. I find it very difficult to believe in post World Star that you have a track meet with all of these children around who all have cell phones and no one has any footage of what happened. also in the idea that there are security cameras everywhere. There was no security cameras on the school grounds to actually show what took place. And what is the reason, if that footage does exist, for that to be held back? It certainly can't be in pursuit of justice and the truth. So it does beg a lot of questions. And I'm glad that, that this information is coming out, although we have to say allegedly that there is more to the story, but I think we all know that there's more to the story.
Well, this kid had no sign. Like he brought up in a great home and all this, and never had issues like this. And the two white brothers, from what my sources are saying, and multiple people have said this, were allegedly known bullies. And you know what struck me? What makes this a little easier for me to believe? When the father of the victim, the kid that was unalived, he was so quick to say, "Stop making this a race thing. It's not." And I felt like, wow, his behavior after losing a son to me seemed like, when you don't want someone to go down a rabbit hole to like investigate, like look too much into things too much. Oh, no, that's not it. No. I don't know. It just was I just felt weird about what he said, but I was appreciative of what he said. Let's not make it a race thing, but it's too late. It is a race thing, because we all know if the tables were turned and we all know if the tables were turned, it would be a totally different thing. Okay. I'm tired of this country picking and choosing when stand your ground matters. I'm tired of, listen, let's stop protecting people just because they're the same color as us. And that goes for black and white. We got to get to a point where right is right and wrong is wrong. And if I am wrong about this Carmelo Anthony case, and I am wrong, and the facts come out and I'm wrong, I will get on this platform and other platforms and I will apologize. And I will give the family the credit and the empathy and the police department my apologies that they deserve. But if I'm right, I need people to start getting into the habit of questioning and knowing that we still have very corrupt law enforcement in a lot of parts of the country. Now, Denton County, Collin County, I live in Texas, okay? Some of the most racist areas in the nation, okay? So it makes total sense that this could be it, allegedly. We will find out. Now, lots of money has been being raised for Carmelo, not nearly as much as George Zimmerman and Rittenhouse, but whatever, we'll get to that another time. But next week, we will have a guest on our show that is with the organization that is raising funds. Would you like to speak on that real quick, Erica?
Oh, I think we have our producers are going to put up information. Yes, we will be hearing from, so that basically when there was an opportunity for funds to be raised on behalf of Carmelo Anthony, a lot of people were saying that Give, Send, Go were culpable because he obviously is the defendant in this situation. And so they were getting a lot of flack for allowing this to happen. The co-founder's name is Jacob Wells, and he will be on our show next week to talk about the reason why it was the decision was made to allow this platform to help raise funds for Carmelo.
It just amazes me, right? Kyle Rittenhouse drove across state lines with guns, and to protect businesses he has no personal interest in, just wanted to participate, and kill unalive people, injured people gravely. And there was plenty of fundraisers, and people let that fly. Never did we protest that he shouldn't have a right to defend himself in court. Let Carmelo have his day in court as well. We don't want superior rights, you guys. We want equal rights and the same energy. If you can just keep the same energy, we'll have nothing to bitch and complain about. So please make sure you do not miss next week's episode of Accidentally Informed. We will have, like she said, the co-founder of Give, Send, Go joins us next week. And we will talk about why he decided to stand on business and allow the fundraiser to continue for the defense of Carmelo Anthony. Jacob Wells will be joining our show. Thank you so much. On a high note, we got to go. I know we're over. Vegas was a vibe.
Vegas was such a vibe.
It was one of my favorite birthday celebrations, and you all made it so amazing. Erica, you are a very giving, generous friend. You really are. You're a great friend. And
you're a great friend. I was happy to celebrate you.
And you have the cutest dance moves. I will be posting video of Erica on my story so you can see her Beyonce dance. You can hear some of her singing and her shenanigans. And
is that a threat or a promise, Claudia?
it's a little bit of both.
Check out our socials. We'll be posting all week.
All right, we'll see you back here next week. You've been watching Accidentally Informed,
where we can't guarantee that you'll learn something, but you definitely might. And thank you, informers, for those super chats. We appreciate you buying us a coffee.
Yes, we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.
Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.